My friends started rating the ARC for bicycles, and it just sort of became a thing.
I went to college and I found out that my favorite part was riding my bike there instead of actually going to classes.
Once you get the experience of riding your bike into work and not having used a car, and you are able to literally stop and smell the roses or say hello to someone that you know, it changes your whole day.
I think it's a lot more fun, a hell of a lot more fun, and also it's cheap.
You don't need to waste any resources to ride your bike. You just eat a sandwich and then you've got fuel.
You gotta have some rigor when you ride a bike.
Yep,
Lots of it.
Lots of rigor.
I think about people driving and they're just kind of on their butts in their car, not getting any kind of, not tapping into any kind of vitality or exercise or fitness to get around.
They're the ultimate machine.
It's fun for the whole family.
It's fun for the whole family.
Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like.
I think there's a growing bike culture everywhere.
It's kind of become a hip thing to do.
Denver has the potential to become a trendsetter and a leader in cycling because it's got the bike paths, it's got cyclists, it's got mountains, and the weather's perfect.
I think the bike culture in Denver is such that it embraces all forms of cycling.
There's a lot of different alley cat races and different things in general.
Yeah,
I mean,
like the Ride to Remember, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Loops is interesting.
Oh, the Moonlight Classic.
Art Crank,
Ride to Remember.
Alley Cats.
critical mass bike rides.
We're going to have the city's first and only bike through coffee shop window.
You have like the bicycle clubs,
Mountain bikers,
The Denver Cruisers.
the rim jobbers, and the cycle jerks.
general commuters,
You've got the messenger crowd.
the petty cabs,
The hip sect, younger people.
single fixie commuters,
We've got road cyclists.
active racing cyclists,
A lot of different kinds of riding, like bike styles.
training wheels.
Mountain biking.
Cruisers with riding a fixed gear.
A single speed bike.
Just a mix of people we're calling cyclists.
It's all the same idea, and we're all going towards the same thing, using less gas and having something that everybody likes to do, and we do it together.
Have you ever ridden a bike in Las Vegas? It's horrible.
I would not be biking in San Francisco.
I've lived in a lot of different places that are called bike friendly, from Charlottesville, Virginia, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, to Austin, to here, and I find Denver to be the most bike friendly city that I have lived in, just from the way it's laid out. The road network that is set up is very conducive to lots of different types of cyclists, whether you want a more direct route and are willing to brave a higher volume street, or whether you live around City Park and have a network of neighborhood low volume roads to get to the park.
We've got these racks that Denver is putting out where people will be able to grab a bike and go to the next rack. You just have to pay a membership fee. It's going to be cheaper than buying a bike over the course of 3 years, and you'll always have a good working new bike.
We did receive $250,000 worth of stimulus funds, and we'll be implementing 11 locations of bike lanes throughout the city, which will also be coupled with additional 5 miles of sharrows. So on the ground, you'll see more pavement markings to direct cyclists and to indicate to motorists that these are bike priority streets.
As we are able to push more education in cycling, we're going to have less confrontations with cars. Buses are going to be more friendly with bikes. They're going to have to hold more bikes. We're just going to see a push towards that.
People who don't really respect bikers for who they are, so they're really aggressive towards bikers.
You know, I've been shouted at, honked at, like, you know, people screaming, why don't you ride on the sidewalk, or like, why don't you get a car, hippie.
Some crazy people who are like, get off the road, and it's scary because they like speed up and they like honk, and like I sometimes get really scared because they have complete power.
A 15-pound bike does not stand up to a
A semi.
Yeah, semi, you know, or any kind of car.
If they hit us, then that's, you know, that could be it for us.
Is a cyclist a pedestrian? Is a cyclist a vehicle? And that's where I think there are problems in terms of being on the road and sharing the road, and problems with people like me who don't know the law.
What's lacking is a direct communication with cyclists and a direct communication with motorists as to what the actual rules are.
Drive your bike like you drive your car.
If you are operating like a vehicle, you are predictable, and that is where a motorist is looking for another motorist, and so they will see you.
We're expected to act like motorists until they change the laws, which they're apparently working on.
Excitingly enough, the state of Colorado just passed the bicycle safety bill, which required motorists to give cyclists 3 feet when passing.
It's not just cars that are the problem. The problem is potholes. The problem is wind. The problem is numbers of things. People get in accidents by themselves and get head injuries.
There is not a helmet law, and that gets into people's individual politics.
I think some people don't buy helmets because, for the obvious reasons, it's not cool.
I was afraid it would mess up my hair.
It's being cool.
No, because it doesn't look cool.
People that say they're not comfortable.
Can get kind of expensive.
And then we have people who say that they read this article by this man who wore a helmet for several days and didn't wear a helmet for several days to see how far the cars got away from him. And he determined that cars actually pull closer to him if he has a helmet on. And I'm going to say, frankly, that that's bullshit.
I would rather have crushed curls than a crushed skull.
It is a law to use lights at night. Per Denver ordinance, I think it's 500 feet on either side, both a headlight and a tail light.
The worst case scenario with that is that you get seen. And the worst case scenario of you not having it is that you have to dodge them or you get hit.
Where can you ride on a sidewalk? Where is it safe?
You're supposed to ride in the street.
Somebody will tell me to ride on the sidewalk.
All the time people say, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to ride on the sidewalk. Well, you're not.
There's a level of being careful riding, you know? So you can bend the law a bit on a bike and still be safe.
At least make the attempt to come to the stop. Look around, see where everything is, and follow that traffic law. And then if you need to move ahead, that's your decision.
If everybody acts according to the rules that have been set in place, we have a lot less accidents, we have a lot less problems.
I mean, you certainly get yelled at every now and again, but it's common to go through an entire week without having anyone yell at you.
I'm glad that I live in a place, in a time, in a way that biking as an adult is normal.
We have a goal for 10% bicycling commuting by 2018, which is reachable given Portland's in 2000, they were at 1.6, which is where Denver is now, and in 2009, they're at 9%. So it is doable, but we're going to really have to work hard to reach it.
It's important to bike because it's just being in touch with the world, actually being in touch with the world.
You should get out and bike because it's the best way to see the city.
Biking represents an incredible freedom.
It's fun just to ride with your friends, like, whenever.
It's fun, man. Like, it's a great thing to do.
You just feel more connected to the world around you on a bicycle.
So as more of us are getting older and we care about bikes, we can push what we want to push. We can spend our money where we want to spend our money, and we just have to vote with our dollars.
Denver is a really good place to have a bike.
Can we say it together?
Yeah, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Denver is a really good place to have a bike.
I think we're on our way.
Everyone's got a friend, a month-long bike ride away. So in our beds we pretend we can synchronize our breathing, meet each other while we're dreaming, like space can expand without end. In a ramshackle house there's a scratchy gramophone, hypnotizing and persistent like a teacher's metronome. And do you know what that sound is? It's our hearts beating in sync with our frequent flying miles or underground turnstiles. There are muscles that move without having
You should always wear underwear while you're riding a bicycle.